Hello and welcome back to City Skylines. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are in vanilla. That is both the Let's Play and the city. And things are going quite well. We have a decent bit of money. We have some serious demand for residential zoning and a little bit of demand for offices or industry. But what I'm thinking is that today I would like to just grow the city a little bit more. We are close to being a small city. We are not that far from being a big city, which would be important because we get a new 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer space. So hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we can maybe get both of those today. I was thinking that today we would start doing some serious redevelopment. We'd maybe go in and start pulling apart all of this and redeveloping, but I think we can probably do that in the next episode because if things go to plan today, the next episode we might very well have this new area here, as well as water treatment and a crematorium, which would be super useful, as well as trains. And trains are going to be so useful for getting people about. We should probably look into public transport as well. I feel like public transport might be a really good addition to everything we have going on here. So I'm going to throw, I guess we'll throw it in there. Doesn't seem like a terrible place for a bus station, or a bus depot, I suppose. It's not actually a bus station. I'm going to throw a stop there, and, oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong way. I'm doing this like a left-hand drive traffic. What am I? Playing Emerald County. I'll throw a stop just there as well. I'll throw one up there as well, and then there. So that way, people can sort of get about all that space. I'm not going to throw any into this housing area because I think it's close enough that it's probably okay. I will throw some buses along here though, which I think could be a really good idea. So a bus there, gonna put a bus in there, and I'm gonna put a bus there as well. And then that's gonna just lead the whole way back to there. So that's gonna be a nice big loop for a whole bunch of buses. There's going to be so many of them. There always are. If we click on you, we can modify your line. There are 3 vehicles currently. In the line overview, 4 or 5. Yeah, it's going to tell me eventually how many there are. Gonna go with the blue color for all of my buses, I think. Blue's quite nice. It works. Hopefully we'll see people actually using my buses. Currently, I don't know that they will, but we'll see. We'll see. There's people waiting here and there. There's a bus stop there with a couple of people waiting. So yeah, we might see some people using the buses. That might help with traffic just a little bit, especially traffic going from this area to this area for work. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also thinking that in terms of zoning, maybe it's worthwhile keeping sort of a 50% demand for everything. So if we can get about 50%, a medium demand for residential, commercial, industrial / offices, that way we should maybe avoid some of the problems we have with abandoned buildings. That's my thinking anyway. Whether that works or not, I mean, yeah, we'll see. But what I'm also going to go ahead and do is just expand over here a little bit. I want to go ahead and I want to get rid of those houses. And I'm going to come in there with another little road that goes like this. So sort of that way a little bit. And I want to do another one there. Maybe a little bit closer. So something a bit like that could be a better idea. Just so I can get a little bit more housing in there, because there's not really going to be anything else in that space. It leads straight to a cliff, so it's not like we can put a lot in there. But if we do this kind of thing, we can get a whole bunch of houses. It's going to look beautiful. And like that. So these guys are sort of living on a hill. But they'll have a decent view, which is important. What I'm also going to do is extend this little road here just a little bit further. So it can go up to about, I'll say there, and we can put a whole bunch of low-density housing on this. I know we've unlocked high-density housing as well as commercial and offices, but I'm not really all that interested in using that just yet, and the reason is that high-density commercial needs people who have high levels of education, and we don't have any of that yet because we don't have a university. We have sort of people with medium levels of education. If we go ahead and click on a commercial building, we can see. So, educated is primary school, well-educated is high school, highly educated is university. And offices and high-density commercial buildings need universities, and I'm not willing to put a university in here yet. So we're not going to bother with that. Also, probably... Oh, we did zone that. Okay. Apparently I wasn't paying attention when I zoned this, but that way we can get a few more people into these areas. I do think I'd love to put some trees around here and make it look all pretty at some point. But for the meantime, we'll get all these people moving in. It's going to look good. It's going to look fabulous. And we will hopefully hit this demand just a little bit and continue to make loads and loads of money. As for this entrance to the city, it's not doing so great. So I think I'm going to go ahead and change up this a little bit. And I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, what does that have to do with the entrance to the city? Well, let me show you. We're going to do some terraforming. We are going to flatten this whole area to about there. So we'll do that. And then we're going to add another roundabout. And it's going to be a roundabout that this music is really intense. It's really intense. Wow. Super, super intense. Speaking of intense, I hope all of you have paid attention to the new expansion announcement for City Skylines. City Skylines, I believe Natural Disasters or something like that is the name of the expansion. And looks kind of interesting. Lots of natural disasters, very SimCity 4-esque disasters. So you've got meteors, for example. There's also systems that'll sort of let you have like early warning systems so you can like use radios and stuff. It looks interesting. It looks really, really interesting. I'm not quite sure when that's out. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't looking at the announcement. I just saw the trailer. And I think the trailer said coming soon, so that's about all I know. But it looks pretty cool. Looks interesting. That might be a fun addition to maybe this series. I don't think it warrants a whole new series of its own. But we might end up experiencing that in this Let's Play. It's a definite possibility. But I'm not going to promise anything, because I kind of like building things and not having it get destroyed, but I'll definitely do a video showing off that expansion as soon as I get my hands on it. That'll be a lot of fun indeed. So let's go ahead and get this little roundabout just in here. By the way, if you have seen the Natural Disasters trailer, if you have seen the announcement, do feel free to talk about it. I'd love to hear what other people are thinking of it. I was... You know, I'm cautiously optimistic. I was a fan of Snowfall, but I haven't really touched any of the features from Snowfall since, well, Snowfall. So I'm hoping this one will be, you know, something I play around with a little bit more. I also needed to move that road back a little bit because we don't have the tile here, and it wouldn't have really worked. So let's see, can I still get me roundabout to work? Yeah, it's on a little bit of a slope, but it does the job. It's totally fine. So go to there and go to there. Then turn that into the highway thing there. That is, that's fine. It slopes a little bit, but that's alright. Does the job. Let's go ahead and extend a road off of here then. So that's going to go from there. And it's going to go straight along. So to there. Then to, there, I think. I think that lines up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that lines up pretty well. So this is where the roundabout goes on this end, and then we put a road between them, and we basically have a nice big square. And this is going to be super useful, because it means that we can go ahead and direct traffic around the city to get to the industrial space, as opposed to having to go straight through it. Also, I saw someone commenting saying that I shouldn't use the sound barriers because traffic can't see what's coming in the roundabout, and I love that. I love that thought of realism. It's so cool. The reason I use the sound barriers is because if I don't, you get the really ugly dirt around the highway road. With the sound barriers, you kind of don't. So that's my reasoning for the sound barriers. I know that it's a little unrealistic, but it also keeps people in the city happier, which is kind of what I want to go for as well. But I love that comment. I love that concern. It's really cool, because that's what I think about when I'm building, you know? It's like, hey, is this realistic? Hey, no, it's not. I also seem to have completely messed up. Which is good. Real good, real good, real good. Because this is not right. Or is it? Is it? That doesn't line up, does it? Or does it? Is that the middle? I can't tell. Is that the middle? I guess it is. I'm really not sure here. I feel like that's not parallel. To 10 and 10. Maybe it is. No, that's not. That's definitely not. I've done something wrong there. I think. Hold on. I don't know. Yeah. I've measured something incorrectly there, and I'm not quite sure what. I think it might be this road. Okay, I think I've fixed it. I'm not entirely certain, but I'm gonna assume that I have. I'm also gonna start making an effort to move the industrial zoning out of the middle of the city. So I'm gonna come down here for, I'm gonna say 30 units. We're gonna do a nice big curving bit there, which I think is even, possibly. Let me make sure. So if I do 10 and 10, yeah, that's right. Then I want to go 30, and then another sort of 10 by 10 curve. Then go up to there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this little one-way road from there to there, so that traffic to get into this little industrial zone, which, by the way, the goal here is going to be to either get this to be really high-tech industry someday because it is close to the middle of the city, or this will just be offices, one or the other. But this way, traffic coming in has to go to the roundabout and down, but it can get out here, which means it can get to the highway avenue thing much, much easier. So, that's my thinking there. Hopefully it'll work. Now what I'm going to do is go to there, and go to there, and go to there, and bring that up to there. So that sort of connects around. I'm also going to go ahead and connect it at all of these little corners here, because I think it looks kind of funky. And what I'm also going to do is just do... Can I do that without overlapping, is the question? Like, if I go there, and I go there as well, I think that looks pretty good. I like it. I like it. I think it's quite nice and simple. What I'm also going to do is move the power plants into this space, so that's going to go there. And that one's going to go there. Then we're going to move the incineration plants to... A little bit expensive to move these, but it should be okay. Then move that one to there. I can, of course, take a loan if things go a little bit terribly, which I'm hoping they won't. But then we'll do that just there as well. And we'll go ahead and just fill in the rest of this with industrial zoning. So just all of that. I'm going to build up to about there. I'm not going to build onto the avenue because that seems like a pretty terrible idea. So build up to there, up to there, and then fill in the little corner pieces as well. And that's about all the industrial zoning we're going to have in that space. So what we'll need to do, of course, is bring a power line across this road, and then to there, I guess, then bring it down to there and to there. So we should see something get built in here pretty quickly. They don't currently have water, which is a problem. I'll tell you what I can do here to make this work a little bit better. Run that straight to there. There we go. So that's going to connect electricity through to the city once these guys actually have a water source. Now, this should work pretty perfectly, if I'm not mistaken. This should line up almost perfectly with the piping. Yeah, look at that. That is beautiful, except for these guys in the middle who are unfortunately disconnected from everything else. So there we go. That little area lined up perfectly. What I'll then do is go to there and there. All right. So that should start... Yeah, there's some traffic going this way already. It is mostly garbage trucks, but that's all right. They can do their thing, which is pretty cool. I like it. I definitely like the look of this little area. Once again, if it does become high density, high tech industry, that'll be amazing. If not, then, well, it's fine. We can obviously go ahead and put something like a nuclear power plant in there, which is, I suppose, a goal. I think that'd be kind of cool to do. Now, what I'm also going to go ahead and do is... I'm going to move some... Well, maybe I'm not. I was going to move some industry. I think I'll just put more industry in here for the time being. Just because I can. I feel like that's a valid reason, isn't it? That's a perfectly valid reason. What I'll also do is connect a few of these roads through to that avenue. Because I feel like having those connections is probably a good idea. So that traffic can move about quite nicely. So if it wants to get to the avenue, it absolutely can. I do think I want to maybe remeasure this whole area. Because this could end up just being... This is effectively gonna be a sort of central city block. There is probably gonna be another one here, and then this road is gonna obviously end up getting upgraded to be the 6-lane road, which I think I'll do immediately. I think the only place I really want to use these 6-lane roads is going to be for the center of the... Oh, dear. The center of the city. I don't think they're really needed elsewhere. I feel like they will be needed in the middle, but beyond that, I think they might be a little bit of overkill. So I'll go ahead and get a few of those just around here, and hopefully that'll work. Obviously, this road probably needs it too, but other than that, I think we're fine. What I'd also... I would really love the industrial traffic to go elsewhere. It would be really nice to see industrial traffic not just use this main road. I mean, some of it's going this way, but not as much of it as I would like. And that's a bit of a shame. That is definitely a bit of a shame. What I would like to do as well is bring a little... Just a little road. Just like that. Just over to there. Get rid of you, because it's kind of in an awkward spot. Then just add some more commercial zoning to that little section there. So that way these guys can get on with what they're doing and have a grand old time. So let's just connect that to there. Alright, so... A lot of commercial building there. Money is not much of an issue. I have a loan to pay off, which I can't currently do because I don't have the money to pay it off. But that's fine. When do I unlock this? 17,000 people. Okay. Well, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. And that was on fire. Well, that's a shame. I'm probably going to want to get a small fire station down here, aren't I? Just this little one here. We'll just throw it in there. Because industry does tend to catch fire, and I think having a fire station there is probably for the best. Traffic here is still pretty bad. Hey! We're a small city! Look at that! Amazing. We unlock trains, cargo train terminal, train station, etc., etc. And we do have a small train connection down here. So maybe we want to look into trains. Even just passenger trains would be kind of interesting, but I think cargo train stations might be a good bet. I could throw one there, but I feel like that's a bit of a weird spot for a cargo train station. I unfortunately can't get it in there because that would be more or less on the road. But I feel like that is a weird spot, but at the same time, not the worst spot for it. So, it is also 60,000 for a cargo train station. But that might be inclined to get rid of some traffic, which would be nice. So, I kind of want it. I'm gonna do it. It's messed with the terrain a little bit. Can I maybe smooth that out? I don't know how much money it's gonna cost me to smooth it out. Apparently a lot. So that's weird. That's really weird, the way it's done that. Let's just do some smoothing here and there to make it look a little bit better. There we go. So yeah, that looks okay. I can take the track off of here and sort of down, I suppose. Yeah, that could be interesting. Let me try something then with the tracks. So if I was to go... I mean, that is... I want to try and get this to line up perfectly. So if I go there, that looks to be about the same distance. So if I go to that point... Then I go to about there. Almost. There. Almost. So like that. That curves around really nicely. And I know what you're thinking. I don't really need that track. I don't at the minute, but I might later. So I'm going to put that in as a sort of precaution, I suppose. Plus, I could run a passenger line through there as well, sort of parallel to it. So that's something I'm considering. What I'd like to do for the time being, though, is... I mean, could I get one to run parallel here as well? No, probably not. That's fine. Let's just do a, Oh, I can't really get a perfectly 90-degree turn here, can I? That's close enough. Then I just want this to run straight down towards the highway. Alright, so then that goes up to about there. Then, maybe that needs to be a little bit less steep, I think. Let's do, half steps. So it should go up to 6 meters. Like that. Then up to 12 meters. About there. So that's much, much less steep. Then we go Oh, that's weird. Something like that. And then something like that. That's much nicer. That's so much nicer. Alright, well, we don't have money to finish it, but it's getting there. Look at it. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Star of the show right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. By this point. I'm pretty sure you know what that means by this point. That's code for that's probably in the thumbnail. Let's just run another bit of straight track down to here. And can I connect it, like, in a non-silly way? Yes, actually. Yes, I can. So something like that as the connection for the time being. Which does sort of limit any trains that want to come from this direction, but at least we can have some. And it looks alright. It looks decent. But I guess I could sort of do something like this. Have that follow... Maybe have it just curve like that? It is a little silly. It is, it's very silly, actually. Maybe I can try something a little bit better. Something like that. Then have it sort of go straight down here a little bit. So about there. Then can I just have it sort of curve around? I can. It's not the best curve in the world. Definitely not the best curve in the world, but... I'll do temporarily. We'll make it good eventually. Why do I have so many abandoned buildings? What on earth happened? I guess there is no industrial demand, is there? So if I get rid of some of this space here, like so, and get those guys to move out, that'll increase industrial demand. So what I'll do is just de-zone a bunch of this, and then re-zone a bunch of this, so that they'll be inclined to sort of move back in. That might help things a little bit. There we go. So let me bulldoze, bulldoze, bulldoze. Oh, I forgot how tedious this could get. I forgot how tedious it could be. Alright. Get rid of all you guys. And hope that this helps. A few industrial buildings abandoned around here as well, which we can hopefully help a little bit. Oh, you don't have water. Well, that'll be why you're not functioning. That makes an awful lot of sense. There we go. Something I'm realizing with this as well is that not a lot of traffic uses this road here, like this, the right-hand lane. So this road is actually going to be sort of not necessarily exclusively used by this cargo train terminal, but mostly used by the cargo train terminal, and I'm excited for that. I want to see some cargo trains coming in. We also have massive demand for residential zoning, so let's have a look. Did these other roads fill out? Yes, they did. This guy here could probably have some roads coming off of him as well, so let's get that done. Let's go for... I mean, I'm going to go through this guy's house, which I'm sure he's not going to appreciate, but he can deal with it. So we'll do something like that, and a little something like that as well. A little bit less far with that one. And I think I'll actually just come off of this guy and go like that a little bit. In fact, just the whole way up. Make it a little bit more unique, a little bit more interesting to about there. Which means this road needs to become that road. There we go. So that should add a bunch of commercial zoning to the city. Commercial zoning? What am I saying? Residential zoning to the city. I've not been playing City Skylines for over a year and totally didn't fluff that sentence. There we go. So those guys can move in. That'll hopefully help with the demand a little bit. Not seeing any trains currently. Not seeing any trains. Hopefully we will. Hopefully. I really like the little bridge though. It turned out well. It's a nice even slope. Still got some abandoned buildings here and there, which is unfortunate. I guess the problem is not enough workers. So I guess we do... Not enough uneducated workers as well. That's the interesting thing. Maybe we add some parks in here. Maybe some parks and some plazas would be a good addition to this space, because that way we can sort of get the workers that we need. So if I add some plazas there and there, I'd also like to add one there, and I'll add one there. Is kind of where it needs to go. I don't have the money for it. How much is that? That's 15,000. Good lord. That is an expensive plaza, but I guess it's going to make this area look nice. And if this area does end up just becoming offices, then it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But hopefully that will encourage some of these buildings to level up just a little bit. Any trains? No. There are vehicles going in there, so we should see a train come along shortly, or one just spawn and take stuff out of the city. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. Looks so good going over there. Where's he headed to? Is he heading to the right? No, he's heading straight on. Good. Well, that's probably for the best. That is probably for the best. There's another one going. Oh, look at that. We have a functioning cargo train terminal. I'm so happy about this. I know it's a silly thing. I do, but it's functioning. And there does seem to be less traffic in this part of the city, which is super, super nice. I don't think we're going to be getting 14,000 people today, though, unfortunately. Which is, I know, I can hear all of you going, oh, but it's fine. We'll get it eventually. It will happen eventually, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and run a little bit of a pedestrian path just through here. And I'll run one up to there as well, because why not? And I'll also run one from there to... not there. Nope, 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 nope. From there to there. So people can walk across if they so desire, and that's going to get all of the commercial zoning that they wanted. Bulldoze all these buildings. We are definitely having problems with people becoming highly educated. Not highly educated, but people just being educated and not wanting to work in industry. So I think what we may need to do is designate some space, designate a suburb specifically at some point, not immediately, but definitely at some point, which is going to be for people who work in industry. Basically, we go to policies and we use the schools out policy to encourage people to work as opposed to going to school. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. In fact, we could do that here if we really wanted to. That would definitely be an option. Let me plan that. I kind of like that idea. That's a little bit close to the train. That is a little bit far from the train. That is a little bit far from the train. That is about perfect. So if I go to there, right? I go to there, and I do a little curve here. And we're not necessarily mirroring this space, but we're leaving a nice big space for the train and anything else I might put in there. And then I go and I do something like that. Now, technically, I could connect out to this road. This is technically, you know, this is sort of outer city. This is inner city. This is going to be edge of the city, then suburbs and small industrial zones and all that stuff. But what I'm thinking is, I can definitely connect to there. I'm going to use my one-way road strategy, because I feel like it is a good strategy. So something like that, so they can connect to that road, which will be good. And then just put some small... oh, we're going to do high-density residential here, and it's going to be good. So if I do something like this, and then something like that, then something like... oh dear. That one. Then that one. Maybe not that one. That needs to go a little bit further. So 10, and then down to there. I guess. I mean, that does work. Definitely works. So that's basically space for residential zoning. Which I like. I do. I think it looks kind of interesting. What I'll do, though, is I'm just going to slightly adjust it. So that is that 10 units? That is. So do that. So that's where residential zoning can go. We'll do some high density. I don't know if they're necessarily going to move in immediately, but they might. Do that, and then do that. And then we'll do a little bit up here as well. It is not going to be zoning there. We'll do a little bit in this corner. We'll do a bit in there as well, which is not going to be zoning there. And we'll do a little bit here, and a little bit there. And that should look pretty interesting. What I'm really tempted to do, actually, is go ahead and bring a little pathway sort of along this avenue so that I can get zoning in here properly. Which I think might be a really good idea. Even if it looks a little bit janky because of the gaps in the pathway, I think it's going to be really important to do this so that we can get our zoning in here the way we want it to be. So yeah, that's going to look interesting, I suppose. Definitely looks interesting. But I can do this, which is what I want to do. And it's important that we get this. It's important that we get it properly. And then what I could probably do is bring a path from there to there to there to there. Then connect it up, I suppose. So if I did something like that, I can get rid of that little bit, run that to the avenue, and then connect those? Yes, okay. Then I can't really connect those, can I? No. That's a shame. That could have looked interesting, but thus far it just looks a bit silly. I guess I could do trees, though. Like, if I sort of put a tree there, it almost hides the sin, which is, it's most definitely a sin. I can also put a little tree just in... There's like a pixel. There we go. No, I hope that would work. Oh, well. Just get a couple of trees right here. Get some trees sort of along here as well. Because they will act as a nice natural sound barrier for the massive avenue there. So to get some trees in, make it look all nice and natural. Well, it's not natural, it's obviously planted, but you know what I mean. Hopefully. Get a couple of those guys in there, just spam click a bunch of bushes to make it look good. Spam click a bunch of bushes to make it look good. And do the same sort of there. Alright. That should look interesting. They're obviously going to need water, which I can do. I can provide that. Go to there, go to there, go to there, and bring it up. And across, and then connect to there. Alright. So we should see some high-density buildings come in here. They are European buildings, but it should look decent enough. What I'd actually really like to do as well is come in here with a park. Possibly just a little plant. Oh, it doesn't fit. That would have been beautiful if it fit, but unfortunately, it doesn't. This guy here sort of fits. Kinda. Don't really want it, though. I could put a nice big plaza there, though. That'd be interesting. Oh, didn't want to place it. Can I get a refund? Yeah, sorta. Any other parks? I mean, that is that's the Magica theme park, not really what I'm interested in. Basketball court would probably be a good shout to have. So maybe we throw one of those in somewhere. I feel like it would be good to have a basketball court. So let me add one. I'm gonna say there. Let me add a tennis court just there. And then let me D-zone the little bits behind them so that no one builds awkward buildings behind those. And then do that, and those should look good. Those will add to the area. Everyone's going to love them. They're going to be super happy about this, hopefully. And it should be amazing. Now what I'll do is... What way am I going to connect electricity to this space? Because this guy here, the electricity thing isn't really extending far off of him, is it? Now there's a space, but unfortunately it's kind of occupied by trees. Can you guys just keep building, I guess? This space works. I guess that could work. I kind of want here, though. I kind of want to go, like... No, I guess we're going to have to go there. Which is unfortunate. No, I don't want it to look ugly, though. I want them to build properly. Maybe I should have moved my parks to the edges as opposed to having them right there in the middle. Let's see. Yeah, they will build along there. I feel like this is probably the best spot for it. Or there, right at the end. So do something like... this. Let me get this this electrical line to look good. So do that, then do that. So in theory, once someone builds here, it should be fine. They're just not currently. So maybe I want a park. Maybe a park in that corner would be a really good idea. Not really much else I can do. I can do a plaza. I guess the plaza fits pretty well, doesn't it? We'll just do a nice big plaza right there at the entrance, which doesn't really bridge across, unfortunately. But what it does do is create a really big space of electricity. So there we go. That connects that whole area, gives them electricity, and we're going to create the first district of vanilla. Oh yeah. So that's going to come down here. It's going to be a part of this road. It's going to come in, it's going to go to there. In fact, I could probably fill up a lot more of this space than I currently am doing because I can use the roads to measure it, so I'm going to do that. So I'll fill up all of this space, just like so. And Sterling District, sure, whatever. Policies. Schools out. Can I change your style? Vanilla. That changes it to the international theme, which I think could look quite cool. Possibly. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. I feel like vanilla is a good... I can just change... Can I change my entire city style from here? I don't think I can. I think I have to do it district by district, which is interesting. Yeah, policies, vanilla. Yeah, I can't really change it. Okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. That kind of was... yeah, schools out's on there. I'm also going to do... Where is Old Town? Because that way traffic won't use this road to get to the avenue. That way only traffic in that district will be traffic going to somewhere in that district. Which is good. Which is good. I feel like that's a good thing to have. So there we go. Our first district. I love it. I love how it looks. I kind of... Is it bad that I'm immediately missing the European build? Why is that like that? Was that like a European building connecting to this? Or is that like... That's a really strange building. That is a remarkably strange building. I don't know that I like it. And I kind of miss the European style already. I do kind of miss the... I'm going to keep that for the time being, but I immediately miss the European style. I also really need to keep up with the bulldozing. I really do. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. Things are going pretty well with vanilla. We have got a couple of new spaces down here. We have a train line coming in. Traffic is actually flowing pretty well, which is lovely. Just before we wrap things up, I will go ahead and put a new bus line in, which is going to be effectively the middle of this district, heading sort of along the same road as these guys here. So there, and there. Then maybe down into here might be a good idea. Sort of like that. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Then back to here. So I feel like that's a pretty good idea. I would kind of like to move that stop to there, though. Just so that it uses this little bit of road down here. So there we go. That's going to annoy those guys up there, but they can deal with it. What if I move the stop? What if I put the stop there? I mean, that annoys... It annoys someone, is what I'm realizing. If I put it there, less people are annoyed, so that's fine. There we go. So that's going to function in an interesting way. It's a slightly darker blue bus, which is cool. Definitely cool. This area is looking pretty decent. It's obviously going to need some decoration. These trees along here make it look quite nice. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. So thank you kind of for watching. This has been City Skylines and the Vanilla Let's Play Part 4. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.